And welcome back, everyone, to the second season of the University Alliance Cup, featuring Wild Rift once again. And we're back with another series. Now it's going to be TUP Gearhawks versus ADMU Loyola Gaming. I'm
Yeah, and I
Infinity, and with me is Neep. We're going to be your shotcaster for this series.
yeah, and I mean both of these teams, they've got history within that University Alliance Cup, within the AcadArena ecosystem, and it's gonna be interesting to see how they decide to pan things out in this draft. And we do see that I think the draft is all right. So the draft is already done, guys. There is quite a lot to take in, quite a lot to absorb. I think the thing that really pops out to me right now is that there's a Jin. We're gonna be seeing a Jin this game. That's something that we really haven't seen in a really long time. Jin is he used to be quite strong, but those nerfs have really taken quite a beating for him.
Yeah, and I think the problem with the Jin is it requires items. If you don't have items for Jin when it comes to the early game as well, it's too hard to match it up against maybe the Kaisa and maybe the Ezreal. And I think this is the reason why Jin is not being picked that often, typically. But I still see the potential here. If LG Esports is looking forward into playing the mid game, late game type of composition, they have a lot in store when it comes to that phase in the game. But considering you have the Lee Sin as well, I think they went in for the balanced type composition. You know what? When it comes to the game, let's Lee Sin scale out. Let's make Lee Sin gank into the mid lane, gank into dual lane, whatever that may be. I think Lee Sin is a champion to wreak havoc in the rift when it comes to the first 5 minutes of the matchup. When Jin, scaling potential, 12 minutes, 10 minutes, I think that will be the key.
Yeah, and a fun fact about this Lean Sin player is that he's actually Korean. TK, I believe he is Korean, so he's going for that. You know what they say about Korean junglers in League of Legends? He's gonna be quite the threat to take an eye out for. And I do think that he is one of those higher caliber junglers in the University Alliance Cup. So that's something to just really keep in mind, something to really watch out for as we head into this match. And we'll see how the Jin fits into all of this. I've got my reservations, especially when we take a look at the draft that TUP Gearhawks have selected. They got a lot of these priority picks, like all throughout the board. They have the Kaisa, they have the Diana, they have the Camille, they have the Fiora. All of these are picks that a lot of teams do really try to fight for, And fun fact about TUP Gearhawks is that these guys coming into the University Alliance Cup, the ROG University Alliance Cup, these guys have won the most AcadArena Campus Open ASUS events out of all the schools. They are constantly the champions of our monthly tournaments, and coming into this whole league, I feel like that they're probably one of the favorites to take it all and win the entire thing. So it's going to be interesting to see how they perform and what LG Esports can do to kind of deny that and prove that they're the ones who are going to end up winning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely something that we could expect coming into this series. But you know what? LG Sports will take 40% of the votes right now, while Gearhawks will take the 56%. I'm curious, Neep, what is your predictions right now as we are into sort of the stage we're in? Everyone is voting in chat, and I want to hear your prediction as well.
Yeah, so as for me, I honestly have to go with TUP Gearhawks.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I like the LG brand and whatnot, TUP Gearhawks, they're doing pretty well. History wise, they like I mentioned earlier, they are one of the favorites, and their draft this game is just really scary. They were able to secure a lot of these power picks, and we do have a shout out right here from Rob Money. Shout out to my boy Koane, Mr. Steal Your Girl. He's like a jar of mayonnaise, the lady's choice. So, yeah, looks like there are some fans for both of these teams right now.
Definitely. If you have predicted going to the side of Gearhawks, you know what? I'll do the same thing as I did in the past,
Okay.
going in for the opposite. I'm going in for the side of LG Esports. You know what? I see the potential here. They're going back into the classic. We're going back into the OG traditional type of setup that we saw preseason of the Icon series. Even before then, we saw this type of draft when a lot of things come in. So I'm really excited to see if it's gonna be the same thing on what had happened before to really punish when it comes to the early game, get that scaling potential, and snowball against Gearhawks, or is Gearhawks gonna scale out all throughout the rift? And I see the potential here. I know why you have picked Gearhawks. Aside from, what, they've won a couple of tournaments already. When you're looking into the draft, they have a lot in prepared. You have Camille, you have Diana, you have Fiora, Kaisa. These champions are tournament power picks right now. And when you have it, it's pretty much gonna be so devastating when it comes to the rift. You have the single target CC from Camille in the form of the Hextech Ultimatum, Diana, the Moonfall. When that occurs, it's pretty much damage haven for the side of Gearhawks in addition to the CC potential.
Yeah, so I guess it really boils down to the execution as well, because we can't dismiss the roster of LG Esports. That Seraphine Ultimate can be extremely devastating if it manages to line up and just hit correctly, hit 5 members. The range is actually extremely deceiving since it gets extended when it taps your ally.
Mhm.
And at the same time, that Lee Sin can just create these huge leads in that early game through good ganks and through just aggressive skirmishing that might be a bit too much for the Gearhawks to come back from. So it really comes down to that execution. I guess something to keep in mind is that the damage is a bit on the questionable side for the LG Esports side, considering that Galio, he has been nerfed quite a bit. He's not as strong he's not a hard hitter as he was before. A lot of those ratios and base numbers have been nerfed quite a bit, but he still has that CC. He still has a global presence, but the damage might not be there for this for this LG Esports side, especially when you consider just how many damage threats there are on this Gearhawks team with the Camille, with that Fiora, with that Diana. It's gonna be really scary, and something that they need to keep an eye out for.
Mm-hmm. And who's gonna take that step up against the enemy team as we look at some of the players right now from Gearhawks and LG Esports? I mean, look at those faces. They're ready to fight in the rift.
Yeah, so it looks like we are gonna be slowly loading onto the Rift as we start things off. See if there's gonna be any early game strategies. A bit of a invade to drop some wards down, but that's gonna be about it. Coming in for this level 1 early game strat.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much, I think this point in time, they're playing it slowly, they're playing it surely. And rest assured, I think they want to scale out, especially when you're looking at every single champion with these two teams in their draft. So I think they need items, they need those goals. So this couple of minutes, 2 minutes of matchup, will not be as exhilarating as we could hope for in the past series to be reflected on this series as well. Because if you're thinking about Lee Sin needs to go to level 3. Seraphine needs to go level 3 as well to spam those kills. Jin, strong all throughout, but that level 5 is going to be very important. Garen, level 3 as well. So pretty much I think the power spike when it comes to levels here across the board is going to be level 3. So 2 minute mark I think would be the name of the game here for these two teams.
Yeah, so that 2 minute mark, actually, the even as early as the 125 mark, once those Scuttle crabs spawn, is really where we should be paying our eyes out for, seeing if we're and watch if we're gonna be seeing any sort of early sort of skirmishes coming out. But at the moment, both of these junglers are on the opposite side of the map, so it should be pretty standard as to how things pan out. I guess, oh, it looks like Jin and Seraphine are attempting to contest this possibly. Looks like they won't and just back away instead. But one thing to keep in mind is that the Lee Sin hasn't gone for that Scuttle Crab yet. He's actually giving an opportunity for it to be possibly contested by this Camille. We'll see how this ends up happening.
Yeah, I'm actually quite curious as well, but Paradox, Occasion Rain, massive amounts of damage, they're falling back behind. As you have level 4 already for Ushiro on that Kaisa. And you know what, LG Esports a bit behind when it comes to taking the Rift Scuttler, but at the end of the day, they have secured it for themselves. They got the info on the top side of the map.
Yeah, so it looks like there is quite enough info on the top side of the map. It looks like TK, he's level 5. He has that ultimate up, and this could be a first blood onto the Fiora already. Galio ultimate being used as well.
Dragon Rage going in, taunt. That will be the Mission Justice to get first blood, and that will be LG Esports taking the lead.
Yeah, so it's gonna be the first blood on LG Esports. They did try to do something on the other side of the map to compensate, and it looks like it's not yet over yet as the Diana is there as well. Wow.
Diana, Moonfall. Will not connect, but he dashes in. Paradox, 1 HP, flashes away. But Sly went in as well for the flash, and that will be the 2 kill against LG Esports. You know what? Take a kill on top side of the map. We're gonna take 2 more into the Dragon Lane.
Yeah, so it is gonna be the okay, wait. Okay, so it is a replay. Taking a look at how that first blood planned out. A lot of flashes being burnt, but you know, first blood is worth quite a lot of gold, so you know, it is something to consider, worth trading for, but this is just a really well played by Sly. I feel like the LG squad didn't even expect Sly coming around, and this is going to be another 2 kills for this Diana. And if we take a look at Diana, she already has that Rod of Ages. You know, after those 2 kills, she was able to pick up that Rod of Ages, and that means she's going to be stacking up this Rod of Ages way earlier than she should be normally, and that's going to slowly build up an advantage over time.
Yeah, and the next step here for Diana will now be the Nashor's Tooth. If he secures those 2 items, it's gonna be hell of a damage output against the enemy team. So it's gonna be very interesting. Now LG Esports could punish how Diana will now be scaling with the Roa, as you stated, now locked in onto this champion as well. But you know what is available as well into the map? It's gonna be the Ocean Drake for these 2 teams. On who will take it is now gonna be the question in mind, as LG Esports is now crashing down.
Yeah, so this dragon is now available. It looks like Fiora is possibly going to make the rotate. Looks like she won't opt to instead. And I think I think for Gearhawks, they want to take this a bit slower because they know that the Kaisa isn't really as strong as she should be early game. If we take a look at the Jin though, the Jin doesn't really have too much items either. Opting to go for a possible Yonmu's Ghostblade as his first item. Going for that lethality build, I guess, is what's gonna end up happening. You know, there was a period in time where the Jins all rushed Guardian Angel. You know, League of Guardian Angel used to be the meta, but
Yeah.
I think times have changed, and it'll just be a first item, Yonmu's Ghostblade instead for this dragon.
Definitely, I think that's mainly because of one, Jin doesn't really have an escape route. I mean, you have the slow, you have the root, you have a lot of things, but the escape skill is not gonna be available in your kit. So you need to have that extra sustainability. That GA is perfect. So I think that was the reason why. And also the cooldown of that GA is gonna be fast, but now it's gonna be Hexic Automate on top side of the map. Monsoon to just sustain the enemy team, but Galio went in for the skill shot against the Galio, and Galio will be deleted as LG Esports make it even. It's now a 2-2.
Yeah, and it's interesting that there was no effort to try to go for that dragon over the a flash in going in.
Curtain call gets a secure kill, and that will be LG Esports taking 2 more. You know what? We're not done. We're wanting to go for more. The Ocean Drake will be the next objective here as TK crashing down at into the bottom lane. But you know what? We're taking the Ocean Drake first. We're gonna have a reroute here. LG Esports taking the objective. It's gonna be the hook shot. Getting the steal onto the Ocean Drake. They've gotten it. Hero's entrance will not connect to anyone. Bitter End will not have a bitter end as he goes back away with a hook shot. Back to safety.
Yeah, and actually, that was a really good steal coming in from the Gearhawks. Let's take a look at exactly what happened. It's just a really good hook shot coming in, followed up by the Great Diana to keep these players locked up while they didn't get any kills from that. The objective and getting away with your life is definitely worth it. And now they have that positional advantage for this Rift Herald. And it's going to be interesting, you know, like I wasn't expecting the game to be this close, but LG Esports, they've been putting up quite a strong fight. TK, ooh, almost dies.
Almost. Pretty close there with inches of death from LG Esports, but you know what, mobility all around, going in for the Sonic Wave, dashing away, but Gearhawks will now give a priority onto the Rift Herald and will secure it as well, which leads them into a 2k gold lead against LG Esports.
Yeah, so that 2k gold lead is going to be pretty substantial. It is going to mean that the Triforces are ready for most of their carries. Diana, I don't think, ooh, commits the ultimate.
Moonfall. It's gonna be the proto build. putting him back to safety. Sly will not pursue any longer. Seraphine with Paradox and Atrixion is now going to the bottom side as well. The information has been given, but Gearhawks will go back to safety with no contest from LG Esports. Alter Shot going for the split push here, but GHX is going back in. Grand Challenge will not be procced away. It's going to be the flash from Alter Shot. What is going to happen next? Hook Shot, Hextech Ultimatum to make it a combo. Redemption to just make it an extra sustainability. Repulse will not save his life, and that will be Seraphine taking him down.
Yeah, so that will actually be a 1-for-1. So not exactly the best outcome, I think, that the Gearhawks were looking for onto that kill on Garen, but I guess it wasn't a disaster. So you have the glass half full sort of thing going on. And this should be a free tower actually for LG Esports, which will put them again even in gold with this Gearhawk squad. So the game being quite close actually this time around.
Moonfall, and that will be another secured kill by Gearhawks, taking one by one. LG Esports is slowly falling down behind. 1.5k gold deficit from their team. And this is what I'm saying. If Sly with the Diana already scared the Nashers tooth after the ROA, it's gonna be so hard to match up against him when it comes to the damage aspect of the game. It's just too much to handle, especially with the recent buff onto his passive, wherein you just put a skill up, it's gonna be attack speed overload for the next 3 basic attacks. And I think that is what Sly is utilizing right now. The damage up against LG Esports is gonna be so much that now it's gonna be a 2-tower lead against him as well. Grand Challenge though is now gonna be procced out. Alter Shot will be the next target here. It's gonna be the hero's entrance from Gaio, saving his team's life, and that will be the 2 kills from LG Esports.
Yeah, and that was a really good response coming in. The Galio proving to be quite useful as, ooh, here comes the possible pick on the mid lane bitter end. You gotta be careful, but TK actually ends up committing his flash as well. As you know, at this stage in the game, if one of your junglers dies, that's a really sketchy situation to be in. That opens up the possible Baron, that opens up the possible Dragon, and your life as a jungler is quite valuable once we hit that 10-minute mark.
Rift Herald gonna be spawned into the mid lane. Very ideal move coming in from Gearhawks, as the Mountain Dragon alive, Baron Nashor also alive, and putting the Rift Herald into the mid lane puts Loyola Gaming into thinking, what are we gonna prioritize? And it looks like it's gonna be the Mountain Drake for now. It's gonna be the Howling Gale connecting onto Alter Shot, going for the knockup. Not gonna be enough though to put them down. Alter Shot is going in for the face check as we go for the flash, but not gonna enough to steal it. It's gonna be Monsoon to disembobulate the enemy team. It's gonna be the Hextech Ultimatum. Moonfall going in. Alter Shot will be erased from the face of the earth, and Gearhawks will take 2. But now it's still gonna be continuously getting those kills. Ushro, 1 HP Killer Instinct will still stay alive. TK, next target, Bitter End will get slain as TK will get 1 kill from another. 1 more shot, 1 HP. TK Sonic Wave will not connect to flash in, and that will be the teammates from Gearhawks.
Yeah, and if we take a look at what's happening right now, that Rift Herald is coming in clutch. They're actually gonna get this mid lane inhibitor tower as a result of that, and what a huge swing of tempo and advantage coming in for the Gearhawks. All it took was just 1 fight. Let's take a look at what happened. I feel like they should have backed off at this point. They overcommitted to this fight. There wasn't enough response, and this Diana just putting too much pressure on this squad of LG Esports. And as
LG...
yeah, I was just gonna say that LG Esports, they didn't need to fight that dragon, and they got punished extremely hard for it.
I do agree. And I think LG Esports has to pay the price as of right now. It's going to be here, Gearhawks going to the bottom side of the map once again. Alter Shot, Hextech Ultimatum will lock him down. He will be deleted, in Loyola Gaming once again will receive a lot of damage. It's going to be Repulse slowing down onto TK. Will not continue. Gearhawks is happy with 1 kill.
Yeah, so Gearhawks, they'll take what they can. That is a kill onto Alter Shot. He is that Baron laner, so this does kind of open up Fiora to push a bit more without really getting punished. I think she will opt to back off a bit since the rest of her team isn't really in position to capitalize the split push prowess that she can offer. But this could be a possible Baron actually. We'll see what Gearhawks decides to do.
TK has the knowledge that Fiora is onto the bottom side of the map, and similarly, Gearhawks has the knowledge as well that TK is not anywhere near them into the Baron Nashor. Opting to back away for now, though, as they wait and wait and wait for their teammates to come through. They're waiting for the teammates to make a mistake to get the kill after against LG Esports. And I think this is something that is very clever here from Gearhawk. Setting up a depth brush, betting out the enemy team, answer back onto it, get the kill after, and after that, they could freely go in for the Baron Nashor with no contest with anything from Loyola Gaming. But you know what? Loyola Gaming is also clever enough to understand what's happening here. As they're backing away for now, they just went in for the face check and they're happy to have the information that Gearhawks is not going for the Baron Nashor.
Yeah, so it's interesting because even the Camille ended up picking up. Okay, she did drink. Oh yeah, so the Camille does have the Spooky Ghost as her activatable item for this game. So they're really doubling down on the look for picks, and here
Lee Sin,
comes a possible pick onto that Lee Sin. Lee
TK,
Sin, Galio also
Galio,
being procced as
Iran,
well. And
Uppercut.
Kaisa, alright, we're casting from the mini map right now.
Yeah.
Kaisa does get down pretty low, but this fight is still going on. Kaisa actually
Killing.
gets the kill onto
Wow.
onto the Seraphine, and this should be a free Baron, as I think the Lee Sin is quite low at the moment.
Magical kill coming in from Gearhawks. We haven't seen it, but Paradox has gone when we just checked out. Now, it's a 4v3. Typically what happens here, I think this is going to be a very smart move. Because if Gearhawks gets a secured kill onto the Baron Nashor, Fiora is pushing it to the bottom side of the map. They're taking it through, and now the pressure is going to be real. Koan went in for the taunt. Two-man taunt to be more specific. Kurt and Cole will now be spawned up. Not enough damn Hexic Ultimatum onto Koan as well. 1 HP. The Flash will save his life. Bitter End will get a hook shot through. Save himself. Save his life. And there will be no kill from Gearhawks then forward.
Yeah, and they now have five Baron buffs on the map for them to use. They're gonna continue to pressure. This Fiora pressure is just gonna be extremely insane right now. Fiora's already one of the best split pushers in the game, and on top of that, she has a Baron buff. So this means that the rest of the 4 members of Gearhawks are free to move around the map. They can take this dragon freely without really much contention. I think TK will probably try to steal it, but it's a Cloud Drake. I don't think that's really worth your life at this point, and that should be, yeah, the easy dragon for this Gearhawk squad.
On the top of all that, I think Gearhawks, you know what, they're split pushing in the top side of the map, and LG Esports understand what's going on here. Because if you look at that, it's 4 siege minions available in that lane alone. So I think they have to defend it. Grand Challenge now being spawned up onto TK. That's gonna be popped in as TK will fall down. It's Gearhawks now going in. It's Bitter End 1v1 against Alter Shot. Silence comes through, but that will not enough to bring them down as Gearhawks will get 1/3 down into the bottom side of the map and onto the top side of the map. They're going in hot. They're going in all in as this is gonna be a banger of a push from Gearhawks. Damation Justice going on to Sly. Sly will still be alive because of the Stasis Enchant, and the inhibitor turret will now be destroyed into all lanes, and they're now crashing into the Nexus base as Gearhawks takes game 1 into their favor.
Yeah, so that's going to be Gearhawks with a pretty good performance coming in from these members. Their opening game in the University Alliance Cup ended up in that victory, and I think LG Esports, they did a lot of things right that game. They were actually doing pretty well. They put up a good fight, especially in that early game. Really strong performance coming in from Koan and TK. It's just a matter of combining all of that together, taking that performance to the next level. And I think we might have a series still even coming into game 2. I think there might be an opportunity for LG Esports to go for that 1-1. And for TUP Gearhawks, great draft. I'd say execution was pretty decent as well. They had a few mishaps here and there, but ultimately the team fights worked out in their favor, and that's how they ended up winning the game.
Yeah, and when you look at the early game, I think Gearhawks was just so good because Diana got the 2 kills, as you stated. The row was available in the first 3 minutes of the matchup, so that just scaled out when it comes to the damage output of Sly. And after that, they just got the kill from kill to kill. They were succeeding into those matches, they were succeeding into those objectives and ganks, and just successfully pushes through and got those objectives for them. So I think that was just the start. The early game, I think, is really one of the biggest thing that you need to look forward into if you're looking at the Wild Rift. If someone gets the early game lead and pushes through and takes more when it comes to the mid game fight, it's pretty much over in the late game. And although I really do think that LG Sports has proven us a very good show for today, TK was just playing around like it's nothing. It was his playground. The jungle is his forest, is his home. And I think it was just so amazing to see how he just played out when it comes to his mechanical and micro play all throughout Gearhawks as well.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. How do you take that early game advantage that you established, and turn that into a victory? That's really the question that LG Esports need to answer for themselves, and that's something that the TUP or Gearhawks kind of need to fix as well. How do we prevent ourselves from falling behind in that early game? Because no one's gonna be happy with losing that early game. Even though you won that game, I'm sure for the Gearhawks, there's a lot. I'm sure they're thinking to themselves that there's a lot that they could have done to make that game less stressful, made that game
Mhm.
less close, and we'll see how things go. I think there's a potential for the Gearhawks to just kind of blow things out and kind of kick into overdrive game two, but at the same time, you can't really dismiss Loyola Gaming. Like they shown in game one that they're there to compete, that they're ready to compete, and maybe it's a bit of adjustment that all they need in order to make things work out for them.
Indeed, I see that gonna be happening for game number two, and so I'm excited. What's gonna happen in terms of the draft? Is it gonna be change? Is Loyola Gaming gonna prioritize onto a different band, onto a different pick here for game number two? Because we've seen how they played out on game number one and saw how Gearhawks has played it as well. Are they now bringing in those current meta ADC, or are they gonna bring back onto the traditional once again for game number two? Is this gonna be their comfort pick for this matchup once again? So I'm really excited for the draft. I don't know about you, Nip, but I think the draft is just a huge chunk of the whole gameplay of Wild Rift.
Yeah, the draft makes so much and dictates so much of the game. If you guys are drafting bad, you're gonna have a hard time because if you think about how a lot of these games are won in Wild Rift, it's whoever has the better team fight. And a lot of what determines who has the better team fight is the champions that are engaging in that team fight, who that are interacting in that team fight. So
Mhm.
if you don't have the members to properly team fight, if your team composition is suboptimal and the enemy team has a better team fighting composition, then you're gonna have a hard time and you're gonna lose. And we do see that the Camille already being locked in by the side of Gearhawks, and that's gonna be a Diana. So if you don't see that frame
Mhm.
there, that is the Diana being locked in. So the Diana, it was on the side of the Gearhawks in the previous game, but looks like this time around Loyola Gaming will be happy picking it up.
I love it. They're playing up against each other to their comfort picks. Gearhawks targeting onto TK, Loyola Gaming targeting onto Sly, and that Fiora as well as the split pusher we've seen from earlier. They're targeting each other's champions. But now it's gonna be Camille, Ziggs, and
Okay.
Garen for Gearhawks though.
And I stand corrected, by the way. That's actually a Galio, not a Diana. So it will be the Galio coming in as Diana was banned. And
Mhm.
the Ziggs and Garen, I mean, those are also really high priority picks. But at the same time, this gives an opportunity for the LG esports guys to also take a priority pick themselves with the Gragas.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a massive pick here for LG Esports, considering you have the Camille, a really good counter for that is gonna be the Gragas. You know what, Hexcheck, automate him all you want. We're gonna go in for the explosive cast. Just disengages for Camille, and on top of all that, damage is actually quite insane, especially if Gragas went in for maybe the Leandris Leech Bane type of route when it comes to building his items up. So we could expect something similar coming into game number two. But after that, you know what? Pick up Olaf, pick up Gragas because Braum is gonna be available and we're gonna pick it up with Ezreal to follow.
Yeah, so the Braum is a pretty good support pick, and it kind of there's a few options left for this LG esports side to pick. As for the support, I guess they could go for the Janna, maybe they can go for the Lulu, seeing that is a Olaf. You know, I'm not really a fan of Seraphine into the Braum, since the Braum shield just sort of stops the Seraphine ult from traveling any further. Yeah, and we haven't really seen the Lux as okay. Speaking of Lux, there's the Lux that has kind of that used to be quite popular prior to this 2.C patch, 2.2C patch, but the base shield has been nerfed by quite a bit, so she's not as effective as she was before. But
Yeah.
she still provides that snare, the utility, and she also has that damage as well with the rest of her
Mm-hmm.
kit.
And I do think Lux is still gonna be viable. I mean, the shield is not that great anymore. Prismatic barrier is not gonna provide a lot more utilities for the team, that huge compared into the past. But I think LG Esports picking the Lux up is a counter, is an attack onto Ezreal. You know what, Ezreal? You have the Arcan Shift, you're super mobile, but when the light binding connects onto you, you're pretty much gone. Says bye bye into the ref. We're gonna bring you down. And I think that is what LG Esports is thinking. We need to counter the ADCs. We need to counter onto the high priority champions from Gearhawks. So I think Lux is gonna be picked out very, very vibrant. At the same time, when you have Olaf as well, a lot of CC counters, and you also have the Gaia to follow through with the hero's entrance. So a lot of big CC totals coming from LG Esports. And for the side of Gearhawks, I think there is a lot to take in as well. They went in for the traditional type of poking type of setup. Ezreal, Ziggs, maybe not the Braum, because typically what happens is you have the Lux in exchange for the Braum, but considering that they want to have the balanced type of draft where he went in for the Braum to have two tanks at least. Camille is going to be the setter executioner from Gearhawks at this point in time to take that Hexic ultimatum to try and get that secured kill. And I think this is going to be so good of a matchup right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great matchup, and you know what else? You know what else is great? You know our sponsors, of course. This
Yeah.
tournament again is presented by ASUS Republic of Gamers, powered by the reigning king of gaming smartphones, the ROG Phone 5, with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 8888 processor, a 144 Hz AMOLED display, and a massive 6,000 milliampere battery. Take your gaming to the next to the next experience, to the next level, for and with the hashtag for those who dare, available at your nearest ASUS and ROG accredited stores, and you can learn more about that with our link. That's going to be rog.acadarena.com.
Whew. I'm so excited, Neeb. I'm so excited. I don't know what to say at this point in time, because if you're pretty much looking all throughout the game, these two teams have certain advantages. These two teams have certain disadvantages, pros and cons as well. Right? So I think this is really gonna be up close. But I just want to give a huge shout out on to Gearhawks. Pag natalo Gearhawks like from our chat there. I was looking at the other chat, but you know what? Huge shout out to the viewers watching at home right now. Really, really thankful and grateful to you guys for supporting this tournament. And Neep, we're gonna go back once again. What is your prediction for this series? For this game to be more specific.
For this game, you know, I want to vote for LG Esports this game. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
do like the Ziggs and Camille. I do think that they're really strong champions, and I want to keep the series even. You know, having a 1-1. Oh, sorry, the Ziggs and Camille is on Gearhawks, so I guess I'm a Gearhawks fan this game. You know, I guess we're going for that 2-0, and Gearhawks is gonna sweep the entire series. How about you?
Yeah, I reverberate your thoughts. I'm going for the side of Gearhawks. Mainly because of the draft. I'm looking at them and it's looking so good. You have Camille, you have Brom, you have Ziggs, Ezreal, you have Garen. This is the OG traditional type poking composition. And on top of all that, when you have Camille and Ziggs to your team, it's over when it comes to the game. Camille could just go into the mid lane, punish, get the kill, Ziggs comes through, and that 20% HP of the turret will be gone with a blink of an eye with a satchel charge readily available. So when it comes to the objective taking, when it comes to the turrets game, I think Gearhawks will have the advantage.
Yeah, so Gearhawks with the advantage. Let's see if LG Esports will prove us wrong, as I do think we are going to load shortly into the game right now. And let's see if
Five-man
there's
roll.
any interesting level 1 strategies going on.
Hey, you know what? We're gonna make it intense in the first 30 seconds. It's gonna be the stun connecting onto Gaia. The first blood connects onto Gearhawk. And that will be the kill that Gearhawks is looking forward into in the first minute of the game.
And that's what I was looking for, going for that 5-man engage, immediately going for that team fight, and getting that first blood right off the bat. I feel like LG Esports wasn't ready for that whatsoever. They
Yeah.
immediately collapsed in, put all the damage down onto that Galio, and took that free kill and walked away.
Surprise! Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and Happy Birthday all around, as we got a birthday gift for LG Esports from Gearhawks, taking the lead right now, and that will be magnificent as their team is looking for those early goals. So at this point in time, I think Loyola Gaming needs to just chill down, wait for an opportunity to make it back against Gearhawks, because this is not looking that good for the first minute of the game.
Yeah, so this means that they will have a bit of trouble contesting the first Rift Scuttler if they decide to go for the same side, and we might see that actually because the Olaf and Camille are going to be finishing on that top side of the map, so they'll probably be looking for the same Rift Scuttler. It's just that Camille is a bit faster at the moment, and she will get that advantage reaching that Rift Scuttle first. And if we take a look at how the mid lane is going, you know, that first blood did go onto the Ziggs, and as a result, there is that item
2v2?
advantage already.
2v2 top, River, it's gonna be the stun, connecting, hook shot, go back away, Silence connecting onto TK, it's gonna be the hook shot, it's gonna be the shots connecting onto altar shot, as you know what,
Yeah.
LG Esports takes the Rift Scuttler.
Yeah, so surprisingly, they still managed to pull it out in the end. They didn't let that first blood phase them, and they get that objective. They put that Olaf slightly ahead of that Camille, and let's see, has the Rift Scuttler in the bot side been taken already? It looks like it has, so that was taken by the bot lane of the Gearhawks. Interesting, and there's a gank in the mid lane. Sly.
Satchel charge to go back away. The knockback is gonna be the savior of Sly into the mid lane. And LG Esports will still be stuck at the 0 kill. As we have Bitter End going in for the support into the mid side of the map, going for the stun on TK. TK very low. Mega Infernal Bomb is gonna connect. TK 1 HP, but the Honeyfruit saves his life. The Gragas now comes in into the mid side of the map. Hero's entrance to go for the knockup will not connect to anyone, and that will be the end. As LG Esports takes the kill back.
Yeah, so LG Esports, they're still keeping themselves in that game. A bit of an overcommit by Bitter End. You know, he did get punished pretty hard by the, you know, sequence of CC just being layered onto him. And this was almost a good play coming in from Alter Shop as well. Almost killing that Ziggs, but, you know, close but no cigar. And now these teams, they're going to be looking to... The footing is now even as they look towards this dragon.
The next objective, the dragon, is going to be very important. And yes, that's going to be the Mountain Dragon. But still, getting that objective gives you extra gold. Considering that these two teams are evenly matched up when it comes to the gold lead, I think this would be the game changer, the name changer of this matchup. But you know what? Switch in lanes as the Ziggs went into the duo lane, Dragon lane, and Ezreal went into the mid.
Yeah, so you do see that lane swap coming up. I think this is probably to prepare themselves for this dragon a bit more. You know, I think they're prioritizing the side lane lane control over the mid lane lane control, and we'll see how this ends up going for them, as 2 seconds till that dragon spawns and there's quite a lot on the line.
Yeah, a lot on the line right now, as it's gonna be the 4v4 into the bottom side. River, Loyola Gaming is slowly pushing through, is slowly setting up the play. It's gonna be the Ward Vision game right now. TK went in for the mid side, just throws an axe towards Ezreal. Not gonna be enough to bring them down, and LG Sports still waiting for the right opportunity, still not going in for the Mountain Drake.
Yeah, so LG Esports.
Oh, top side.
Ooh.
Hexagona made a explosive catch to cancel it out, but that's gonna be the kill. The Damnation Justice brings down an altar shot. One more kill for the side of Gearhawks, but they're now crashing into the Mountain Dragon. They have the information that Bitter End is no longer there to go for the contest, to go for the steal Mega Inferno Bomb, to go and try and steal it back, but ADMU, Loyola Gaming, will secure the Mountain Break, as Gearhawks will secure the tap for his blood.
And even though they did get that Mountain Drake, that first tower is worth a lot of gold. And if we take a look at the gold right now, would you see that the Gearhawks are sitting at roughly a 2,000 gold lead just from that first tower, just from that extra kill onto Alter Shot. And this is going to put them at that slight advantage coming into that Rift Herald that's gonna spawn in a minute or so.
Lud and Seko though gonna be available right now for Ziggs already. Bramble Vest for Braum, Maramune for Ezreal, Sunfire Aegis for Garen. They're building up their first core items right now for Gearhawks. And Loyola Gaming as well has built it through and through. You have the Yumu's Blade already, so Damage Fest is something that we could expect onto the Rift Herald. As Gearhawks, you know what? Go for the damage output. Go for the Rift Herald. Because you know what? We have Messick with the split push now forcing Gragas to go and defend the turret. And this will just crumble Loyola Gaming down because there is no flush body slam that we can expect in a 5v5 team fight. And maybe that is the reason why Loyola Gaming right now is opting to back away for now. They're not going for the Rift Herald as this is actually kind of risky.
Yeah, I don't think they really want to fight it right now. There is an you know, the Ziggs does provide a lot of zone control, and this Camille can be a bit tricky to maneuver around as well. So they're gonna opt to give away the Rift Herald. They're gonna save their lives, and meanwhile, while all that was going on, solo kill in the bottom lane.
Messick, you beast! You got the kill onto a Gragas with a lot of kill kit. So that is gonna be very interesting, but we also have TK now going in for the support into the bottom side of the map. Messick will go 1v1, but not for too long as Braum, as Bitter End is now falling down, is crashing down. Messick will be the only one out of the game, out of the play, but still Olaf will remain to be safe as no kills will be done. Just Spinning Axe just goes through and get that information.
Yeah, and now it's going to be the Gearhawks looking to take this mid lane turret, looking to take this bottom turret, and if they're able to successfully take both of them, that's going to be such a huge gold swing.
Messick, half HP remaining. It's gonna be half HP from Gearhawks, but they punish Loyola Gaming. Mega Inferno Bomb will bring them down, and that will be 2 more extra kills for Gearhawks in top of the turret that they've taken down. Paradox, half HP as well. Kone going in for the zoning capabilities, but that will just be it. No kills will be done, and Loyola Gaming is now down to 4 kills and 6k gold deficit.
Yeah, so a huge gold lead coming in for now TUP Gearhawks. They're able to coordinate their push on both the mid lane and that bottom lane. They got the kills as well, so this is a freebie on top of that. 2 extra kills as well as those objectives. And they're in the leading position at the moment, but we've seen time and time again over this past day that anything can happen, that even though you're ahead by this much, you know, all it takes is just one mistake when it comes to Baron. All it takes is just one mistake when it comes to your positioning. And we'll see if that ends up being the case here, or if TUP are going to be able to execute cleanly and just take this gold lead into a victory.
Yeah, definitely. I think that one mistake we can expect happen later on. And I think it's pretty much depending on Gearhawks right now. Are they gonna play it safely, or are they gonna play it on those big risk, big reward type of mindset? And I think that's gonna be the key here. Gearhawks, you need to decide what route you're taking for, because if LG Esports thinks faster than you, I think this would be different right now. But Gearhawks, you know what? We're gonna be risk tolerant. We're going for the Cloud Dragon. We don't care about a potential punish that Loyola Gaming could do. The final spark will not be there. The TPs are gonna be there, but now gonna be the smite from Gearhawks. Takes the Cloud Dragon. It's gonna be the fight right now, but TK will not be alive. Kone went in for the taunt onto 1. It's not gonna be enough. No damage will be present there. Double kill from Garen. Make it a lot more kills. It make it a triple for Gearhawks right now. As Lux, as Jin, gonna be the only one remaining. But Jin will no longer be there. He's gonna be decimated by Gearhawks in that fight. And now they're pushing into the mid-side turret.
Yeah, now it's only the support left alive for the LG side. And this is gonna be, and like you said, 4 for 1. The gold lead is now massive for this Gearhawk squad. Let's take a look again at what exactly happened. We saw that, again, it was a fight over this dragon. Kone was by himself. The Jin and Lux were unfortunately zoned out for the rest of the fight. So it was all these individual skirmishes while the rest of the team was being zoned out that kind of ultimately led to LG just straight up losing that team fight. And that's something that you can't really afford to do if you're trying to make a comeback and win.
Outer shot, 2v1. It's now gonna be the Camille trying to get that kill. Hook shot, Hexic ultimatum, connects onto one. Explosive cast will not be enough to bring him down. It's gonna be Outer shot, half HP. 2-man body slam, but Loyola Gaming went in for the quick response, quick support for his teammates as Gearhawks will now be forced to back away in the cost of 2 ultimates from LG Esports.
Yeah, that's a lot of resources burned by LG Esports, and now Mesek, he's still pushing the bot lane. He's been unchecked so far, and the problem with this draft is that there's no one that can really address this Garen on this LG Esports side. Where we've gotten to a point where the Garen just wins against this Gragas in the 1v1, and we saw Mesek solo kill Aldershot just a few minutes ago as well.
Bitter End now trying to go for a quick response onto Aldershot as well. Making it a top lane matchup once again. Glacial Fisher connects onto one. Goes for the knockup. It is going to be obliterated by Loyola Gaming. It is going to be their time to make a comeback, and Sly will fall down to the hands of Gallo.
Yeah, so even though they have lost life, it looks like the pressure being applied by TUP Gearhawks is not stopping, it's not slowing down as they clear the mid lane. The Garen is still playing very aggressive towards this bot side, and now they're gonna collapse onto Kwane.
Kwane, now it's a 3v1. It's Taunt connecting through from 1 HP remaining. The Proto Build tries to kill him through, and it will connect. It's a 1-for-1.
Yeah, so that's a 1-for-1, and I think, what are you guys gonna... TK, what are you doing?
TK, 1 HP, he will be obliterated once again. It's a Shiro. You know what? It's a 2v1. You wanna kill me, but we have a number advantage against you, and that will now be a 1-for-2 in favor of Gearhawks.
Yeah, and good efforts all around to try to make those big plays and stay relevant in the game. It's just the execution just isn't there, That was a really good effort by TK. He almost killed that Ezreal. He almost killed Bitter, and that was almost a 2v1, really. But, the rest of his team wasn't there, and he just didn't have the items, really, to make it happen. He's still sitting only on that Triforce and that Righteous Glory. He doesn't have I'm assuming that's a Black Cleaver. He doesn't have that complete yet, and this is going to be the Gearhawks starting up this Baron.
They're being risk tolerant right now. Hexic ultimate onto Paradox. It's gonna be the hero's entrance, going for the 2-man knockup. But will that be enough? The damage is lacking. It's gonna be the curtain call, not connecting to anyone as Gearhawks will get the lead. It's a 3-for-1 trade-off. 2-man remaining for Loyola Gaming. It's gonna be Atricium, Alter Shot, the only one remaining right now, as he will not be able to punish Gearhawks. They're punishing the bottom lane. They're trying to get the inhibitor turret, and 1 HP will not be sufficient enough to battle against Mesek. The Mission Justice cost shot will bring him down, and Gearhawks will now be looking into the Nexus base, 200 HP, and they will take game number 2 in a 2-0.
Victory.
And GG, well played to Gearhawks. They're gonna be our second team to secure that 2-0 lead for themselves. They had a pretty interesting series against LG Esports, kudos to the LG Esports guys. They did not give up even though it looked grim. They kept on fighting. They kept on hustling. It just wasn't enough at the end, and it's going to be the Gearhawks walking away with 3 points, in their group. I believe that's Group B. Yeah, so Gearhawks are going to walk away with 2 points. They're going to be at the top of that Group B leaderboard after that series.
Yeah, they're happy to be on that type of point advantage. But once again, I just want to give a huge shout out to our tournament sponsor. The University Alliance Cup wouldn't be a thing without our amazing sponsors and partners. UAC 2021 is powered by Globe Telecom, our official telco sponsor. ASUS ROG Phone 5, our presenting sponsor. Logitech G, our gear partner. Riot Games, our publishing partner. And lastly but not the least, it's gonna be Twitch Student, our platform partner. Once again, I'm Infinity, and this is Nip. We're gonna tune away for now, and when we go back, it's another series that you could expect. So don't go away.
Why don't you watch me do my thing? Reinvent and show the world, yeah. She's to be more, she's to be better, she's to evolve, she's to be more, she's to be better, she's to evolve, she's to evolve. Every time the world spins round, reinvent 360. Thinking you gon' mess up your thing. watch me do my thing.
Take it to the next level with Globe's fiber, LTE advanced, and 5G mobile connection. Now you have the power to reinvent your world. Globe.